We're going to break down Chaturanga, which is, I think, one of the more complicated movements in yoga. And this is one that if you don't do it correctly, this is where a lot of people develop shoulder injuries. So we're going to go through it a few different ways, and you'll start to feel how much chest strength and arm strength you need and core strength to do Chaturanga correctly. I've been doing probably 100 Chaturangas a day since I've been teaching so much. So it takes time to develop the strength. We're going to go through a bunch of variations. The Chaturanga is the first part of your Vinyasa flow. When we talk about Vinyasa flow being lowering down to the ground, that's the Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog or your back bend and exhaling to down dog. And the Chaturanga, in my opinion, is the most difficult of those poses. So we're going to start on our hands and knees and just start to get the feeling of lowering down with the right alignment in the shoulders and the elbows. So your hands in yoga are almost always shoulder distance apart. We're always creating this strength where we're structurally aligned right underneath those shoulders. And also anytime your hands make contact with the ground, we want these nice flat hands. As much as possible, middle finger pointing forward. As we lower down, we want to keep the elbows in close to the body. So instead of coming out like you might in a normal push-up, you're going to bring the creases of the arms forward. This does two things. It allows the arms to bend straight back, and it also gives you a little bit more strength through the shoulder blades in those traps, engaging those muscles a little bit there. The other key thing when you're lowering down is that you don't want your shoulders behind the hands. If you drew a line right down from the shoulders, you want the shoulders actually all the way up here. So when you come down, you're trying to hit 90 degrees with the shoulders. That keeps less upward pressure on the tops of the shoulders, and it helps avoid some of the injuries that people tend to get in Chaturanga. So just doing these modified Chaturangas, which everyone seems to want to avoid in class, they don't want to be seen doing the modified version. It takes a lot of strength. We're going to start there. Grounding those hands, coming forward with the hips. So coming from your hands and knees posture, as you straighten up those hips, your shoulders are going to come forward. I even have to move my knees back a little bit here. Long line from my knees to the top of my head. So try to avoid this. We want to really come forward here where we're engaging the core. Let the creases of the arms rotate forward. I can already feel my shoulder blades locking in place as I do that. And then as I lower down, I'm trying to keep one long line and keep the elbows back, trying to have all of my body touch the mat at the same time. Not easy. Doesn't matter if your feet are up or down. All right, so that's your first version of Chaturanga. And it's definitely not as easy as people make it seem as they're flying in and out of it. If you feel like that's difficult to build up the strength, you can do Chaturanga push-ups, which are very simply lowering down and then see if you can push up in one straight line. So again, my elbows staying close to the body, pushing into those hands, coming right back up. See if you can do 5 of those. When you can do 5, time to try the full Chaturanga. So the next level is to do a full Chaturanga, but instead of stopping at 90 degrees, letting yourself come all the way down to the mat. So again, let's talk about alignment. Hands are right underneath the shoulders. My elbow creases are forward, and then I'm going to come back into my plank pose here. So again, I'm trying to make sure that my shoulders are forward. And if you're not ready for the full Chaturanga, just hanging out in plank is a great way to build the strength for Chaturanga. 2 things I want to check in on here. I want to make sure my inner thighs are rotating up and I'm really strong through the core. And again, that I'm not sinking through the shoulder blades or puffing up. I'm staying nice and strong here. We're going to lower all the way down, trying to keep one long line. My shoulders want to be forward, so I'm coming up on my toes slightly, and those elbows stay into the body. See if you can lower all the way down. That's done with an exhale. And of course, you can try that full Chaturanga push-up if you want by engaging the core. See if you can push straight up. So there's a lot of things you can do to strengthen before you hop into a Vinyasa class and start moving. faster. You want to make sure you've got that form and that strength to protect the shoulders. All right, the next full version of the Chaturanga. You can hear me breathing heavy just from doing 2 push-ups. So the next full version is to come down and stop at 90 degrees. What we're trying to do is lower down and then come down to a place where our elbows are in close to the body and we're at 90 degrees. So you can see my shoulders would be a lot more forward over my hands. I see a lot of people up like this. This is where you want to hit to protect those shoulders. You need some wrist flexibility and wrist strength here too. So that's another area that might start to get sore until you become a bit stronger in your practice. All right, we're going to plant those hands, come to plank. Inhale here. My inner thighs are up, nice and strong through that core, coming forward. Exhaling to 90 degrees. This is your full Chaturanga. All right, that's just the Chaturanga. We're going to put it together with the up dog and the down dog to bring it into our full Vinyasa flow, our full sun salutation flow. So thank you for practicing with me. this is something that takes a lot of time to develop the strength. Make sure you've got this mastered before you start moving quickly in a Vinyasa practice. Namaste.